call in somebody to help you with the problems. You don't want the problems to go on. Who are you going to call in? You only got yourself. That's all you got. You might get a therapist once in a while, but they got worse problems than you do. The only consultant who can help you with your problems is you. And who is that consultant that you're calling in? We've already established that there's something wrong with that person, right? Something wrong. So now you're going to call in a disabled person to deal with your problems in your relationship, right? Now, this is a really sick approach to curing your problems. You got somebody who says, we got a problem. You don't talk to me, and I didn't talk to you, and you came home late last week, and this week I called you, and you didn't call, and I was supposed to call you, and then you didn't do it, and how can you do that? Now, this is the consultant you're calling. Excuse me, would you come in and help us? I don't know if I can help you or not. I didn't come home. I didn't. That's the person you got to deal with your problems. All right? Now, what you can do is you can change all of that around. You can say, I'm in a relationship. We got problems. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the way things are, you know. My problem is that you are different than I am. And you think differently than I do. And you behave differently than I do. And you smell different than I do. And you have all of these attitudes over here that I don't have. Nothing wrong with that. That's the way it is. When two people get together in a relationship, you don't have two people becoming one. If you do that, then what you end up with are two half persons. Who wants a half a person in a relationship? You always are single. Even if you're married and and involved in a relationship forever, you're still always single. You're still always you. Your unique, special, perfect self that is not trying to love, but who is love, who lives love, who is being love. The same as if you pray to God and say, God, will you please help me with my problems? And want God to do it for you. Never happen. You've got to be God, not be afraid to carry God around inside of you. If you want to get healed, you have got to understand that you're not going to get healed if you are asking someone else to heal you.
And ask any doctor that you know, any surgeon particularly, who's taking somebody into surgery, and ask them which person has a better chance of living, of surviving, say, serious surgery. Is it the one who has a will to live, or is it the one who's just given up? And the surgery and the cases are exactly the same, all right? But the person who has that will, which we can't define, you can't go out and get a bucket full of will and bring it in there. It's an attitude, it's an approach, it's a belief, all right, that you can do something. And when you have that belief about yourself, then you've got so much better opportunity to be well in your life. And a belief is everything. I don't know if you've ever thought of that. I watched a little girl, 5 years old, learning how to swim. And she's holding on to the edge of the pool, and she wants to get over here to the steps. And it's just 5 feet or 6 feet, and she'll let go, and then she'll hold on again. And she'll let go, and she'll hold on again. And finally there comes a time when she lets go and goes for it. Okay? You've seen this with your children, you've seen it. And what you ask yourself is, in the moment before that when she was holding on, and then look at the moment afterwards, does she have any different skills?
What's changed?
Yeah, the skills she doesn't have any new skills. She didn't learn any skills in that second. What she has is a belief that she can do it. And when you believe it, when you really just believe that you can do it, that's what allows you to swim. And when you think about it now, do you know how to swim? Yeah, so when you dive into the water, you don't think about that. You just know when you dive into the water, you can swim. You don't have any necessary swimming skills or anything like that. Or when you get on a bicycle, you get on, you know that you're going to, unless you believe you can't, because you've never gone out there and tried it and worked on it and done it.
You told a story of a patient of yours who had that very problem, who said she didn't know how to ride a bicycle.
Yeah, Gail, who came to me many years ago. And you know why she said she couldn't ride a bicycle? Because her mother wouldn't let her get on one.
Cop out.
Yeah, absolutely. And she had these beautiful big white teeth, and her mother had always told her you could fall and break your teeth, and I wouldn't want that to happen to you. So here she was now in her 30s, and telling me that she couldn't ride a bike, and she was in therapy. And I said to her, okay, let's go. She said, go? Where are we going? I said, well, I've got a bicycle downstairs, and I'm going to show you how to ride a bike. I'm going to have you teach yourself how to do this. And she said, look, I didn't come here to pay you the kind of money that I'm paying you to have you teach me how to ride a bicycle. I came here to find out why I can't. I said, oh, well, you're going to need another 30 seconds of therapy easy, okay? The reason you can't is because you never got yourself on a bicycle. And until you do, you never will know how, and you just believe that you can't. Oh, that's the end of that. There's no more to talk about that. Now, what we have to do is get you to get out there, and we went downstairs, and it was a woman's bike, and I've helped a lot of people to teach themselves how to ride a bike. And what you do when you help someone to teach themselves how to ride a bike, because you don't teach anybody how to ride a bike, okay, is you let them do it all themselves. You let them hold it, you let them balance it, you let them move with it, you let them put the pedal down and move it themselves, and you stand back. You say, no, when you're ready, you know, and then you move it, and you hold on for a second, then you put your foot back down, and you practice it and practice and practice that all yourself, you know, with just someone encouraging you, and before long, in just a matter of minutes. When I tell you it was minutes, and this woman had never been on a bicycle before. She rode like 2 blocks on a bicycle. She couldn't believe that she now had a belief.
Being, to me, means seeing the greatness and the uniqueness in you and never letting anybody else convince you to the contrary. When people ask me, come on, you're always talking about being up and you're always positive and so on, you mean to tell me that you're always that way? I say, yeah, I really am. And it isn't because I'm out there doing something in an artificial way. It's an authentic response to my having gotten the junk out of me. And the junk is the way that I used to think, the way that I used to think. Think for a moment, if you can visualize right here, a clock, a big clock. And the hands on the clock go from 1 to 12. The clock starts right out here with the minute hand, and it goes over towards the 3, the hour hand, minute hand. And that's the time in your life when you are moving away from yourself, from your true self. That's the time when you are trying to put other people down, trying to prove that you're bigger and better than somebody else, trying to make yourself right all the time, as opposed to being with somebody else. It's like you're moving away, and a lot of people spend a lot of time moving away from their true self, because your true self is this little child, is this beautiful little child inside of you that has only love and acceptance for everything in the world, and no dis-ease, no absence of ease. You move away towards the 3, and then you move down here this way, and you're still moving away from yourself until you hit the 6. The 6 is the point in your life, symbolically, metaphorically here, when you are the furthest away from yourself that you can be. It's the low point in your life. It's the point where many people break down, or many people break down their relationships, or they feel full of despair, they feel full of hatred, whatever it may be. And a lot of people die then. A lot of people are put into hospitals then. A lot of people have to really seek out therapy then, and so on. And when you're at that 6. There's another part of the clock that goes from 6 to 12 that I think of as living in the light. And this is when, and see, this clock hand never can go back. It can't go back. It can only go this way. It only goes this way, as does life. It only goes this way, forward. In this period, this place between 6 and 12, that's when you start coming back to yourself. That's what enlightenment is. That's the pathway to enlightenment. When you send out that stuff that is destroying you, that is killing you in one way or another, and you move yourself back over here, and eventually you get yourself all the way back. This is the light over here. This is the place where you can't go back. You'd be tempted. You might be tempted to steal. You might be tempted to use anger. You might even slip a little bit, and you catch yourself.
I can just not too long ago, there was we got a problem with our sprinkler in my home. One of the sprinkler heads is off, and if you ever seen that happen, you get a gusher going up there. And I've been wanting to get that thing replaced for the longest time. And I'm walking out of the bank, and there's a sprinkler head right there in front of the bank. Now, I practically own this bank, okay? So I'm going to go there every day, and I do a lot of business with this bank. And I'm looking at the sprinkler head, and I think, you know, all I have to do is just unscrew this thing. It wasn't on or anything. They'll replace it tomorrow morning. It's 98 cents or whatever. So I actually get down there, and I start turning the sprinkler. And then I start thinking, do I want this karma? Do I want to steal? Do I want to take? I know it's only a 99, and if I went into the bank, they'd probably give me one anyway if I asked them. And I just turned it back And I said, if I want a sprinkler head, I'll go and buy one for myself. This doesn't belong to me. It was just like a split second of weakness there or whatever. But it illustrated to me that I can't go back there. I could never. And there was a time in my life when I could have done that. I can be absolutely frank with that. I could do that. I can't go back there anymore.